right, staggering drought conditions continue in the southeast, as we've been talking about. Birmingham, Alabama has gone 45 or more days without measurable precipitation here.
Yeah, a little over 40 miles outside of Birmingham is Lincoln, Alabama, and that's where we find Mike Seidel this morning. Mike, what are the conditions like there? What can you visibly see to know that the drought is bad?
Well, everything is just tinder dry. The leaves are falling off with not much color. And look at this around me. We've got a torched landscape across the state of Alabama where there were 37 new fires yesterday. They've all been contained, but we expect more fires today as the sun comes up and the temperatures head for record highs again.
It's been very serious, and it's been building really since middle of September.
Drought-related brush fires are breaking out across Alabama.
Humidity's been low and the wind has been high, so the fire behavior, makes it more intense.
The whole area is a tinderbox. 46 counties are under a burn ban. It's been dry. Birmingham and Anniston's average rainfall in October is more than 3 inches, but this year there's been virtually none. This is more than one of 1,200 fires that have torched the Alabama landscape since October 1st, charring more than 13,000 acres. That's 5 times as many fires versus last October.
That's right. We're here at the Spruce Run Reservoir here in Clinton, New Jersey. You can see it really is depleted right now, about 35% of where it should be. This is part of a system of reservoirs providing drinking water and recreation to millions. It's also a system suffering from extreme drought.
When I was young, I used to come out here with my dad.
These pictures paint an idyllic snapshot of Clinton, New Jersey's reservoirs. But recent video tells a very different story. Drought has depleted the water in all the Northeast Jersey system reservoirs, prompting a drought warning in 14 counties.
In the spring this year, it was up to the base of that concrete.
Tom Zayos has enjoyed fishing in Clinton's Round Valley Reservoir for 30 years. And has never had this much trouble just launching his boat, while Ashley Brothers and her family come here to kayak.
I was actually in shock when I pulled up.
A muddy proposition since the water levels receded.
My mother-in-law got stuck in it twice trying to get out of her kayak.
The Spruce Run Reservoir here in Clinton, New Jersey is at about 35% of its capacity. To put that into perspective, where I'm standing right now, the water should be 7 feet deep.
A cluster of polio-like illness in children is under investigation in Washington state. So far, 2 of 9 suspected cases have been confirmed as a rare condition known as AFM. 1 child has died. Maria Villarreal is at the Seattle Children's Hospital, where 3 patients are being treated. Maria, good morning.
Good morning. The affected children range in ages from 3 to 14 years old. All of them, all of a sudden, had a disabling pain in their arms and in their legs. And while AFM is not contagious, the CDC says there is no cause or cure. The mother of the 1 boy who died tells me it all came without warning.
The Ebola epidemic that engulfed West Africa in 2013 is still somewhat of an enigma to scientists. Now, 2 studies raise another possibility of what contributed to the epidemic. They show that approximately 3 months after the outbreak began, the virus mutated, making it better suited for humans than its natural host, the species of fruit bat. Co-author of one of the papers, Pardis Sebade, stated, "The virus has never had this many human-to-human transmissions before, and there are a lot of mutations happening." Sebade said the compelling evidence has been amassed that for the first time connects a mutation in the virus to a preference for human cells. The team writes that the findings raise the possibility that this mutation contributed directly to greater transmission and thus to the severity of the outbreak.
CBS 4's Donna Rapato is live in Wilton Manors with the latest from the Clinton camp. Donna.
Well, Vanessa, she had a huge turnout here in Wilton Manors. She was here at the Manor Complex just behind me, addressing directly the LGBT community and the organization that put together this very large, excitable rally. They point out more than 1 million LGBT voters live right here in Florida. The crowd in Wilton Manors was large and it was rowdy. These mostly LGBT voters made it clear who they support as next U.S. president. Hillary Clinton revved up the LGBT crowd, speaking right to them and the issues that concerned them in particular. First, she began with this.
Donald Trump has a terrible record on LGBT rights. And this election will determine whether we continue the progress we've made or let it be ripped away. We know Trump has promised he'll appoint Supreme Court justices who will overturn marriage equality, and that he will repeal President Obama's executive actions to protect LGBT people from discrimination.
Clinton pointed out right now no federal laws stop employers from refusing to hire someone because he or she is LGBT, or landlords from renting to them. She also talked gun laws, a subject brought too close to home recently.
We're going to bring people together to reform our gun laws and keep guns from falling into the wrong hands so that what happened in Orlando can never happen again.
Clinton said as president she would get rid of what she called the harmful practice of conversion therapy, the attempt at making an LGBT person, especially kids, straight.
We'll work together to achieve the AIDS-free generation that is within our reach.
According to a study released Thursday, a record number of gay characters are featured on broadcast series, but small screen shows overall can be deadly for the female ones. The media advocacy group GLAAD found in its report on small screen diversity that more than 25 lesbian and bisexual female characters died on scripted broadcast, cable, and streaming series this year. The report said, while TV remains far ahead of film in gay representations, the medium failed queer women this year by continuing the harmful bury your gays trope, sending what it called the dangerous message that gay people are disposable. GLAAD said it's part of the decade-long pattern in which gay or transgender characters are killed to further a straight character's storyline.
ماشومان دي زنانه دي تعلیم نسته په شکل بل سړی دی دغه نسته غونډه دغسې بې ګناه بې تاده ماشومان د درو میاشتو په دا کوشش دی.
The leader of the Islamic State group has released a new message calling on his followers to fight to the death in Mosul. In a speech lasting more than 30 minutes, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi rallies his followers to fight to the end, especially in Mosul, Iraq's second biggest city. Now, he tells them this will be a prelude to a victory. Al-Baghdadi also urges others to carry out attacks in Saudi Arabia and Turkey. The audio message could not be independently verified, but it was similar to recordings previously released by al-Baghdadi. It was the reclusive ISIL leader's first public message to supporters since Iraqi forces launched the battle to retake Mosul more than 2 weeks ago.
All right, we are tracking some sad breaking news out of Afghanistan, where 2 American service members have been killed.
This announcement came within the past hour. 4 in Your Corner anchor Kelly Dame joins us now with the latest. Kelly, good morning.
Hey, good morning to you guys. Well, NATO officials say the 2 service members were killed fighting the Taliban. In addition, 2 other Americans were also wounded. This announcement came into our newsroom less than an hour ago. Coalition officials there say the service members came under fire during a train, advise, and assist mission with Afghan partners to clear a Taliban position and disrupt the group's operations. NATO declined to identify those killed pending notification of the next of kin.
2 shipwrecks off the coast of Libya have claimed the lives of at least 239 migrants. The UN says many women and children are among the victims. The tragedies come only weeks after 300 migrants were rescued by the Italian Coast Guard off the coast of Libya. The latest victims, believed to be mostly from West Africa, were travelling in rubber dinghies. The number of migrants known to have drowned in the Mediterranean so far this year now stands at more than 4,200, more than 500 more than for the whole of last year.
Concerns about the possibility of Election Day violence sparking security preparations in a key battleground state. Peter Ducey live in Cleveland with that story. Peter.
John, the Sheriff's Department told us yesterday on Tuesday they're going to have a special impact unit standing by to make sure that nothing gets unruly or violent at polling places. This impact unit was also on call for this summer's RNC here in Cleveland, and is part of the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Department's community policing wing. They normally back up local police as they do surveillance or canvass neighborhoods or set up checkpoints while searching for suspects. In this case, they're going to be waiting to get a call about any people or groups that may be trying to interfere with residents trying to cast ballots. And right now, we're told the main area of concern are long lines that could grow into unruly crowds.
We are monitoring social media, and we do have folks at each polling station. So our deputies go around at the polling station, they pick up the ballots and take them down to the Board of Election. So we just beefed up our manpower because of our previous elections.
Right now, U.S. intelligence sources are warning of possible al-Qaeda attacks on American soil set for Monday. CBS News and the New York Post reporting possible pre-election day attacks in New York, Texas, and Virginia. The outlet cited anonymous sources, adding the credibility of the threat has not yet been confirmed. We're continuing to monitor this breaking news. We'll have updates both on air and online.
Sources report former British Ambassador John Kerr, who drafted Article 50, says Britain still has time to change its mind about Brexit. Though formal divorce talks with the European Union have begun, you can change your mind while the process is going on, Kerr stated to BBC TV. Prime Minister Theresa May plans to invoke Article 50 by the end of March 2017, kicking off 2 years of divorce negotiations.
Two new reports point to an alarming increase in the number of women that could die from cancer in the near future. Researchers predict that by 2030, 5.5 million women could be dying from cancer every year. According to the American Cancer Society, that would be an almost 60% rise in deaths over just 2 decades. The majority of these deaths would likely come from breast cancer. Another recent report predicts breast cancer diagnoses could almost double by the year 2030. Many of these deaths would occur in low and middle income countries. Far fewer cancer cases are diagnosed and treated in poor countries, leading to more deaths. But it's not all about screening and treatment. Researchers note as countries improve economically, the women in those countries will be exposed to other cancer risk factors more commonly seen in wealthy nations, like obesity and physical inactivity.
At 6 o'clock, in just the last 15 minutes, the Oklahoma Corporation Commission announced new actions will be taken in Pawnee in response to last night's earthquake. They plan to announce the details of that tomorrow before noon. Meantime, that earthquake upgraded initially from a 4.1 to a 4.5. There have also been at least 2 aftershocks today in that area, measuring magnitude 3.1 and 2.8. State Representative Richard Morissette speaking to the Capitol today about earthquakes. His conference planned before the earthquake hit. Fox 23 has a team coverage of the earthquake tonight for you. We begin with Fox 23's Eddie Randall. Reaction from people who live nearby about the spike in quakes, Eddie?
Last night's 4.5 magnitude earthquake literally has the town of Pawnee shaken up, but people I talked to say it does not compare to the 5.8 magnitude earthquake they saw back in September. You can see this area right here is still in the process of being rebuilt from that September earthquake. People in Pawnee tell me that they're really talking about Tuesday night's earthquake. Many say even though it does not compare to the largest recorded quake in Oklahoma's history, which also hit this area back in September, they still say this is one to remember. Many explained in detail just how strong and powerful that earthquake was.
Just got in bed and hadn't went completely to sleep yet and heard the noise, and then the bed shook for a few seconds.
Well, just put our kids to bed and stuff, and it knocked them right out.
We checked in right now. Grant and Logan counties are leading with the most earthquakes over a 3.0 magnitude. People here in Pawnee say they are concerned that these quakes are happening more and more frequently. Now, I'm pulling the data of the top 10 towns and cities in the state of Oklahoma that have had 3.0 or greater magnitude earthquakes. I'll have that information plus reaction that I got from people here in town when I asked the question, do you think Oklahoma is going to see a big one? I'll have that story on Fox 23 News tonight after the World Series. Reporting live in Pawnee, covering news that matters, I'm Eddie Randall, Fox 23 News.